This movie is outrageously, offensively bad. You could make a case that it's like the worst film ever made.
Bro has never seen the Catwoman movie. Or any Steven Seagal movie. Hey. It's been a while, hasn't it? A lot has happened. I got demonetized.
Ah! Damn!
Had to rethink my content ideas, developed a crippling Borderlands 2 addiction.
Walt, please just hear me out, please.
Started a new video that took weeks to make, got corrupted. Now my birthday is coming up soon, may have to move soon, a lot has happened. Hope you haven't forgot about me.
Alright, let's see what this is about. Where the is everyone?
Right then, May the 4th has long passed, Star Wars 3 was re-released and it just so happens to be my favorite Star Wars movie. I had the pleasure in taking my grandmother to see it as she has never seen it before. I first saw it in theaters when I was 6 years old. I grew up with the prequels, read numerous comics like the Republic series, played numerous games, I even met Hayden himself at Fan Expo Vancouver. I studied lore in all Star Wars eras, except the sequels for obvious reasons. I recognize flaws in things I like, so I believe I am qualified to speak about this goober's opinion. Like Matt Walsh or hate him, I am personally indifferent to him, but this video speaks to a larger topic I take issue with. Prequel haters. It's fine that some people don't like the prequels, it's okay to not like things, but to be a blind hater due to misconceptions is cringe. I believe Matt perfectly embodies prequel haters and everything wrong with such an attitude. Enough yapping, this is where the fun begins.
I love my kids. I make sacrifices for them. I sometimes even subject myself to unspeakable tortures for their sake. And that's what I did over the weekend when I took some of the kids to go see the 20th anniversary re-release of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith.
Condescending, talking down on the material you watched, closed-minded, great start.
I am, however, a fan of the actual stars. You know, why watch Star Wars when you can look up at the stars at night and see the great cosmic pageant that God himself has written, produced, and directed for us? That's what I've tried to tell my kids, to no avail.
I don't need to drink or do any of the drugs because I'm high on life. That's right. I'm high on life and I'm better than everybody.
Same energy, lol.
And after suffering again through the entire 9-hour runtime, or what felt like it, I can confidently say that Revenge of the Sith is even worse than I remember, like a lot worse.
These first few segments may seem like a nitpick now, but I will return to this soon.
This movie is outrageously, offensively bad.
No, it isn't.
I'm not saying this for effect. You could make a case that it's like the worst film ever made.
Play the clip.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Everything about it is bad, except the score. The score is pretty good.
At least he recognizes good music. We agree on something at least.
First of all, as many people have pointed out over the years, but I must reiterate, the dialogue is atrocious.
NPC spotted, loads of normie haters have this same talking point. Let's see if he has anything new to add. Spoiler alert, he doesn't.
There is not one moment where the script reaches even like a C grade. It is the worst dialogue I've ever heard in a mainstream Hollywood film. It is shockingly bad.
Lie to me again and I'll open you from your belly to your brain and feed you your intestines.
Bro just really disrespected Ian McDermott so casually. Roll the clip.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
So just to give one infamous example, In a scene early in the film, Anakin, played with the charisma of a metal folding chair by Hayden Christensen, goes up to Padme, played by Natalie Portman, and says, "You're so beautiful." And then Padme responds, "That's because I'm so in love." To which Anakin says, "No, it's because I'm so in love with you." That is actual dialogue in this movie.
Here we go. Every prequel hater always talks about this. Heaven forbid a couple expresses love for each other in the privacy of their own home. Sure, it may be awkward to watch, why wouldn't it? Any outsider watching a couple express their love for each other is going to be awkward. I'm sure Matt is super cool and epic when he expresses love to his wife. You ever seen couples talk? Not all of them are oozing riz and it's completely normal.
What do you mean? I don't want to just be okay for you. I want to be your man.
Yeah, you're man. You're my king.
I'm her king. She's my queen.
Loads of young couples especially talk such a way. When I was in my teens and early 20s, I said numerous cringe things to my partners, just like Anakin, who is around the same age. It's not a coincidence that women resonate more with romance in films than men. Your personal preference doesn't make something bad. Just because you don't resonate with it, doesn't mean it's bad.
One of the most basic principles also of scriptwriting is to show, don't tell. This is scriptwriting 101.
How?
The absolute worst way to convey a character's emotions is just have him say it. So a clever writer, or even just a professional one, knows how to bring us into the character's mind without having him broadcast it. And so if you're telling us if you're trying to tell us that Anakin thinks Padme is beautiful and Padme is so in love, there are like a million different scenes that any decently creative and literate person could come up with that get that message across.
Oh, you aren't going to give an example? Cool. This criticism in regards to Padme and Anakin is hogwash, as he acts like he knows what he's talking about. Show don't tell? How? He doesn't go beyond that. A couple of scenes earlier, Anakin just found out his wife is pregnant. Most married couples don't have kids with just anybody.
The happy moment. The happiest moment of my life.
Anakin is married with someone he loves and is having a kid with someone he loves, and later betrays the Republic to try and save the one he loves. He shows it plenty.
What more do you want?
For him to not say I love you? Lame.
The entire movie is like this. There is not one line of dialogue that sounds authentic, much less clever.
Roll the clip.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
And to make matters worse, the acting is uniformly bad, in some cases grotesquely bad.
Roll the clip.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
There may be some actor out there in the world who can make this crap sound good, but he's never stepped forward. His existence is only a legend. Maybe Daniel Day-Lewis could do it, I'm not sure, but I do know that Hayden Christensen can't.
Getting such hatred and anger across that feels so genuine and real? Not easy. Don't disrespect my boy.
Neither can Natalie Portman.
Oh, Anakin. There were whispers that you'd been killed.
And Ewan McGregor.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them!
Samuel L. Jackson.
You are under arrest, my lord.
You couldn't be more wrong, if you were named Mr. Wrong, and the mayor of Wrongville.
Is like if you ask someone their opinion of the local Italian joint and they say, well, the customer service is terrible and the food tastes bad, but overall it's actually a great restaurant. By definition, it cannot be a great food service establishment if it fails in the areas of both food and service. And a film cannot be good if it's poorly written and poorly performed. What's left to make it good? What could possibly rescue a film if both the guy who wrote it and the guys who acted in it have failed in their job?
False equivalence, such a comparison is foolish. Revenge of the Sith is good. You want a movie that has bad acting and dialogue but is pure cinema? Watch The Room.
Hi.
Can I help you?
Yeah, can I have a dozen red roses, please?
Oh, hi, Johnny. I didn't know it was you. Here you go.
That's me. How much is it?
It'll be $18.
Here you go. Keep the change. Hi, doggy.
You're my favorite customer.
I want to say, well, the acting sucks and the script sucks, but at least the action is good. I would submit that a poorly written and poorly performed film with good action is still on balance a bad film. But as it happens, this movie doesn't have good action scenes. The action scenes are long and busy and lots of things happen in them, but they are not good.
Long equals the bad, you heard it here. Watch any of the Creed movies or Rocky movies. Their boxing fights are long, and they are wicked.
I mean, the fight choreography is terrible. It's clumsy and nonsensical and uninspired. Many of the Jedis who are supposed to be like intergalactic ninjas, like the Karate Kids of the cosmos or whatever, have shockingly bad reflexes. I mean, Revenge of the Sith features some of the slowest fight scenes I've ever seen. There's a scene where Emperor Ovaltine, or whatever his name is who I guess is not an emperor yet in this, but he fights off a group of Jedis who came to apprehend him. And the actor who played Ovaltine was in his mid-60s, and he moves like it. And yet, despite swinging the lightsaber with all the speed and vigor of a retiree playing softball, he still easily dispatches like multiple Jedi warriors who are supposed to be, you know, the greatest warriors in the universe.
I know exactly what he is talking about, and to be fair, if you don't understand it, it's easy to say it's bad. I'm not going to use lore or external media to defend it, as there's no need. Instead, I am going to direct you to the scene where Anakin and Obi-Wan are calling their lightsabers to each other. First it cuts to Obi-Wan, then it cuts to Anakin, then they clash. You may think that was a bit slow, but it was only slow for us. In real time, this is happening. Such a transition is pretty fast, too fast, jarring. It cuts to each perspective to show the audience what is happening. Should it be played at the same time? Or in real time? I don't think so. Such a filming technique is happening for Darth Sidious as well. In real time, without the pauses and screams to show us what is happening. This is what is really happening. Needless to say, I think it looks much worse. Sure, it's fast enough, but what the heck is happening? Too many jump cuts with little explanation. I understood this since I was a child. Shame a grown man like Matt doesn't.
And the fight scenes are also funny because they use stunt doubles or CGI to have the Jedis do flips and random like mid-air 360 corkscrews like Simone Biles for no obvious strategic reason. But for the rest of the time, they have the actual actors, I guess, doing the moves.
Stunt doubles are bad. Stunt doubles are a common practice in filming, unless you are Tom Cruise. And my goodness, flips are mandatory for carrying momentum for further distance. It's not just for style points. You think it would look cool if everyone just jumped and barely moved? It would look way too static. Cringe take. Iron Man is CGI, where is the complainants on how his suit isn't really doing those things? Cringe.
And Obi-Wan Kenobi, which takes place on a lava planet for some reason. I don't remember why they went to a lava planet. Maybe there was a good reason. Okay, why would anyone go to a lava planet? If there are thousands of planets and you can go to any of them faster than the speed of light, why would you ever choose the lava planet for any activity? What possible activity why would you ever go to it? Why would anything ever happen on? Is it because Anakin was evil? So when you turn evil, you suddenly develop an affinity for lava?
Did he actually watch the movie? Or is he just lying? Maybe he is trolling. It's not a plot hole. Palpatine sent the Separatist leaders to hide at Mustafar. He then sent Anakin to kill them all, tying up all loose ends. Anakin went to Mustafar because the Separatists were there. It's not rocket science. Now why would they hide there? It's a planet that no one would want to go to, like Matt said, safe from the Republic, and to hide the evidence. No comic or lore needed to explain, just common sense from paying attention.
Anyway, so they were on the lava planet fighting, and they were leaping from one piece of floating debris to the next, because that's how it works, right? Never mind the fact that if you jumped onto a piece of metal that was floating in lava, you would quickly burn to death. But that's not the point. The point is that this scene ends.
No, you brought it up. You can't just move on so casually after being wrong, talking like it's a fact. It is established that the facility has shielding to protect from the lava. See here. The same glowing blue is present on the platforms, indicating shielding. A little show don't tell action Matt complained about yet doesn't point it out when it actually happens.
This scene ends with Obi-Wan Kenobi jumping off of one of the lava rafts and onto a gently sloping hill, and then he turns back to Anakin, who's still floating on the lava, and says, "It's over. I have the higher ground." The fact that Obi-Wan Kenobi is slightly elevated over Anakin is supposed to somehow mean that he automatically wins the fight, except that Anakin just 5 seconds earlier had leapt like 30 feet in the air with effortless ease.
Way to miss the point. Obi-Wan did not want to fight Anakin, he wanted to fight the Emperor. Earlier in the fight Obi-Wan tried to talk things out again to no avail. Obi-Wan saying it's over is him trying to stop the fighting again. You can see the desperation in his face. If you understood sword fighting, you would know that jumping to attack is not really a great idea. The problem with jumping is that you can't change your position mid-air or change your trajectory. If he jumps into danger, he can't really stop it.
So even if the higher ground is decisive, he could easily just jump higher than Obi-Wan Kenobi was standing. Or he could walk up the hill and continue fighting. This is a wide hill. Anakin could jump to any spot on the hill where his opponent is not standing. Or he could float down a ways and jump onto a different hill and then continue the fight. There is no reason why Obi-Wan Kenobi standing on a hill should have ended the fight.
Let's say he jumped in front of Obi-Wan. What's to stop Obi-Wan from force pushing Anakin in the lava while he is in midair? And sure, the smart thing would be for Anakin to play it safe and float down the lava river, but again that's not the point of the scene. Anakin's anger, his hubris, was his downfall. His fall to the dark side began with him making the wrong choice. Half this movie he's made the wrong choice. So in the end, his arrogance to show up Obi-Wan was a foolish thing to do, which is easy for the audience to say because we are not drunk and corrupted by the dark side.
The whole reason that Anakin turns to the dark side is because he had his visions that his wife Padme was going to die. Ovaltine promises him that if he goes to the dark side, he can stop his wife from dying. And then, which by the way is not a bad concept. Like that idea is not a bad idea. And then right before the final battle, Anakin seemingly chokes her to death himself. And this could work in a tragic sense. He turned to the dark side to save his wife, but then he ended up killing her. Except the problem is that for some reason, we learn in the next scene that he didn't kill his wife. The doctors tell us that his wife did not sustain any physical damage at all, yet she was still dying of a broken heart. So rather than having the tragic ending of Anakin killing the woman who he was supposedly trying to protect, for some reason Lucas pulls the punch so that the whole choking incident was irrelevant.
The choking scene is not irrelevant. I've been trying to stay cordial, but this is such a stupid thing to say. Anakin choking his own wife out of darkside anger is a showcase to the audience on how far Anakin has fallen. It shows how awful the dark side is. The chosen one, trying to kill his pregnant wife. It's shocking, as you would not expect such a thing from any reasonable person.
And now we have Padme giving up on life because her lame goth boyfriend turned evil. So instead of her dying a tragic death, she turns out to be a selfish coward who's not motivated to live for the two children she just gave birth to.
Framing Padme in such a way is so snobby. To those who don't know, you can literally die of a broken heart. It's a real thing. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to read up on it. I don't know about you, but if I found out my husband became a genocidal maniac, who killed children, crumbled democracy as I knew it, committed war crimes, and tried to kill me, I would be destroyed, especially with him being the father of my children.
And then we cut to the next scene where Darth Vader finds out that Padme died and then throws his hands in the air and shouts, "No." More atrocious writing from George Lucas. I mean, there were dozens of potentially profound and interesting ways to have this character respond to this news.
Like what? Again, he doesn't give an alternative. Look, the no thing is up to personal preference. If you don't like it, I completely understand and respect it. I personally don't mind it. This point is admittedly a bit hard to defend for me at least. But on the other hand, space wizards don't break your immersion, but the no scene does. Cringe.
So anyway, the point is, at this point, the promise that Ovaltine made to Vader has been revealed to be a lie, so why does Vader stay loyal to him? There's no reason. The entire narrative motivation for this character's transformation was yanked away at the last minute, and there's no attempt to deal with that problem at all.
No reason? Think. Anakin thinks he killed his wife, which is more tragic, I would argue, because if he knew Palpatine was lying, he would likely try to kill Palpatine. Palpatine tricking him and getting away with it is tragic. Not only does Anakin think he killed his wife, he thinks his children are dead, he committed genocide, betrayed his best friend, he has no parents, no friends, the organization he worked for is gone, the Republic is gone. What does Anakin have left aside from Palpatine? Nothing. Where would he go? He would likely be branded a traitor a second time. He burned every bridge he had.
We can't even give it marks for tone, because tonally the film's also a disaster. It's written and acted like a campy, cheesy comedy, but at the same time, George Lucas wants it to be like this dark operatic masterpiece. He even has Anakin slaughter a whole room full of children. No, I have no issue with your villain doing something heinous, but you can't have a campy, cheesy movie that's also dark and also features the mass murder of kids.
Why is the art of camp bad? Has he even seen an opera? They can be campy. Rocky Horror Picture Show anyone? Watch more movies, mate.
It just needed a new script, different actors, and a better director. So maybe it didn't have potential after all. Anyway, my kids liked it, so.
I can just picture Matt sitting all angry while his kids have fun. Wow, what a terrible review. Terrible takes. If Matt just didn't like it, we wouldn't be having this discussion. However, as you can see, majority of his critiques were due to poor understanding or misconceptions. On top of all that, if he still doesn't like it, that's okay, you aren't a bad person for not liking things. The problem then arrives when you shit on the material people are passionate about for incorrect reasons, talking down, acting holier than thou, like you are above the material, above the fan base who watch it, then get upset when people push back and call you out for it. This is why I showed the beginning clips in the video I said I would return to.
Reportedly, I read this, that George Lucas wanted to cast Tupac in the role that ultimately went to Samuel L. Jackson, which makes Tupac's death perhaps a blessing in disguise. At least he was saved from the embarrassment of being in this movie. If I personally don't like something, it is a national crisis. I thought the prequels were infamous for being low quality, poorly written, sloppy cash grabs. I mean, there was a time when I think everyone basically saw it that way.
So tone deaf. Maybe to OT purists in the early 2000s, but the haters have passed. You aren't in the cool kids club for doing the long past trendy thing, which was blindly hating the prequels.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
If I personally don't like something, it is a national crisis.
It's not about you disliking something, it's about your attitude and your inaccurate critiques due to misconceptions. You can't just blindly shit on a movie and its fan base and expect no pushback.
Do you want to tell me that Hayden Christensen, the lead actor, the guy this whole thing is about, put in a good performance? Really?
Straw man doesn't make you smart. You aren't really after an explanation, you already made up your mind before you saw the re-release. I pointed it out already. You don't care for a back and forth, you aren't going to read paragraphs in the comment section.
Is anyone arguing that the acting is good?
That's me.
Do you want to tell me, do any of you in the comments, okay, do you want to tell me that Hayden Christensen, the lead actor, the guy this whole thing is about, put in a good performance? Really? Okay, so if you're going to rank like the great cinematic performances of all time, where is Hayden Christensen on that list?
Stretching the goalpost much? No one said Hayden is like the top 5 actors or something. You are just straw man arguing to further your beliefs. The biggest misconception is Anakin and Darth Vader. I get it, OT boomers had a vision in their head on what Darth Vader was like in his youth. Everyone had their own interpretation of Anakin. This quote by Henry Cavill sums it up.
But when it comes to fans, it is a fan's right to have whatever opinion they want to have. And people are going to be upset because, especially when you're talking about books or games, because you're never going to be the exact person who they had in their head or who they played on Witcher 3, for example.
Anakin acts like Vader and talks like Vader, he just doesn't have the funny voice modifier.
I must go, Master.
I must obey my master.
Yes, Master.
Yes, my master.
I see through the lies of the Jedi.
I do not fear the dark side as you do.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Everyone loves James Earl Jones. His performance is iconic, but it would not hit as hard if the voice modifier was on.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take her away.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take her away.
Anakin with the voice modifier would sound almost identical to Darth Vader. Loads of people imagined Anakin to be some sort of womanizing cool guy who is a war hero badass. Sorry your image of Darth Vader didn't pan out, but that's on you, not George Lucas.
Anyone really want to tell me that the dialogue is good? Does anyone dialogue? Okay, dialogue that includes a scene where the bad guy literally throws up his fists and screams no into the air. You want to tell me that's good dialogue?
Red herring logical fallacy. Distracting us away from good dialogue and focuses on one questionable scene so his side looks better. Cringe.
Give me, I don't know, 3 examples. No, not even 3. 1. Give me 1 example of good dialogue in the script. I didn't even get into the names of these characters. Who's the one, the robot, the evil robot that named General Grievous? Like General Grievous. Well, how'd you come up with that, George?
This man will roast General Grievous for his name, yet he will glaze the OT when the most popular villain in Star Wars, Darth Vader, is Dutch for father. How did you come up with that, George? Matt would say, but he won't.
No. I am the father.
Well, how'd you come up with that, George? A second. So he replaced every part of his body with machines except his lungs?
Audiences once wondered why Darth Vader was wearing his suit, or why he was breathing so loud. Later it would be seen in the prequels. You wonder why Grievous was coughing? Watch the Clone Wars mini-series. Not every character needs their backstory explained in one movie, as evident with Darth Vader. Grievous is a cyborg just like Darth Vader. Why didn't Darth Vader replace his lungs?
No issue with you saying, yeah, it's not a great movie, it's got all these problems, I still like it. That's fine, you can like whatever you want.
Yes, you do. You did an entire video saying how it was a terrible experience, and the worst movie ever made.
This movie is outrageously, offensively bad. You could make a case that it's like the worst film ever made.
If you have an opinion, stand by it, don't buckle on your hypocrisy. As you can see, this man is compromised.
My problem is when people have a nostalgic or emotional attachment to something, so then they insist that we all have to pretend that the thing is actually good, that it's high quality art.
I firmly believe Matt embodies everything wrong with prequel haters. Blindly hates on the film because it's cool, argues critiques based on misconceptions, doubles down when wrong, shits on the film and its fan base, and is upset and surprised when people call you out for it like you did nothing wrong. There you have it. This video took a lot of effort, so I hope you enjoyed. Maybe you learned something. Sorry if my text-to-speech was undesirable. In the future I will use my real voice, just not yet. If you made it to the end of the video, smash like and subscribe. If you enjoy such analysis videos, I have another Squid Game you should check out. I have an Instagram too. I'll post memes and other things. I'll post in the community tab for announcements, so keep an eye out. In order to potentially getting monetized, my meme edits will now be shorts as they aren't really monetizable. I plan to make long-form content bi-weekly, but it's a small production team here, I'm afraid. I post shorts almost every day, and I'll post gaming videos in between long-form videos to have consistent uploads. I appreciate you all. So what's the moral of this video? Matlabad lol.